In this module, we will discuss the concepts of elementary reactions and molecularity and the difference between molecularity and reaction order. As we have established previously, the reaction order is not determined by the stoichiometry of the reaction. It is crucial to make a clear distinction between a reaction's stoichiometric representation, which is depicted as a balanced chemical equation, and its kinetic characteristics. The reaction equation alone does not reveal what we call the mechanism of the chemical reaction. A reaction mechanism is defined as a sequence of individual steps known as elementary reactions that collectively describe the transformation of reactants to products. Each elementary reaction represents a single chemical reaction event involving a small number of molecules, ions, radicals, or other types of reactant species. For the sake of simplicity, we will call them all molecules. These steps typically follow simple rate laws, which, when combined, establish the complete rate law for the reaction. The rate law, including the reaction order, is derived from the reaction mechanism, not the stoichiometric coefficients of the reaction. In our exploration of reaction mechanism, we encounter the concept of molecularity. Molecularity is a fundamental concept in understanding the kinetics of an elementary reaction. It is defined as the number of reactant species that we refer to as molecules participating in an elementary reaction. It basically counts the number of reactant molecules that come together in an individual step of a complex reaction mechanism. The importance of elementary reaction steps lies in a straightforward formulation of the rate law. For elementary reactions, the reaction order directly corresponds to the molecularity. It means that the order of the reaction with respect to a given reactant is equal to its stoichiometric coefficient in the chemical equation. This allows for the rate law of an elementary reaction to be derived directly from its chemical equation. A unimolecular reaction involves a single reactant species undergoing a transformation. This type of reaction is characterized by a single molecule rearranging its atoms or breaking apart without the involvement of another reactant molecule. A classic example of a unimolecular reaction is the isomerization of cyclopropane to propene, where the molecule changes its structure internally. Another instance of a unimolecular behavior is the decomposition of diatomic molecules, such as the dissociation of diatomic iodine into two separate iodine atoms. In a unimolecular reaction, the rate at which the reactant molecules undergo transformation is directly proportional to the concentration of the reactant. Every unimolecular reaction is necessarily a first-order reaction with respect to the reacting substance. The rate law for such a reaction can be expressed as a product of the rate constant and the concentration of the reactant molecule. A bimolecular reaction, as the name suggests, is characterized by the participation of two reactant molecules. Two molecules must come into contact for the bimolecular reaction to occur. During their collisions, molecules can merge or exchange energy, atoms or groups of atoms, resulting in a transformation that is driving the reaction's progress. An illustrative example of a bimolecular reaction is the interaction between nitric oxide and ozone, where the two reactants collide and react to form new compounds. For a bimolecular reaction, the rate is dependent on the probability of two reactants colliding and undergoing a chemical change. If we consider a reaction between molecules A and B, the rate of the reaction is proportional to the frequency of effective collisions between them. This, in turn, is proportional to the concentration of A multiplied by the concentration of B. This is why bimolecular reactions are inherently second order. The rate law reflects the dependence on two reactant concentrations. The rate law for a bimolecular elementary reaction can be expressed as being equal to the rate constant multiplied by the concentrations of reactants A and B. In the study of chemical kinetics, it is imperative to differentiate between the concepts of molecularity and reaction order. While molecularity counts the number of molecules involved in an elementary step of a reaction mechanisms, the order of a reaction is an empirical measure derived from the rate law as determined by experimental data. Unlike molecularity, the reaction order can be an integer, negative, or fractional. The two concepts match only for elementary reactions, where the molecularity directly dictates the reaction order. The relationship between the molecularity of a reaction and its order is not reciprocal. For elementary reactions, the rate law can indeed be deduced directly from the reaction equation. However, the contrary doesn't hold true. A reaction that is first order is not necessarily unimolecular. It may involve more complex mechanisms. Likewise, a second order reaction is not necessarily bimolecular. It could be a complex reaction involving more than two reactant species. Therefore, while elementary reactions allow for straightforward deduction of the rate law from molecularity, complex reactions require careful experimental investigation to uncover the underlying mechanisms. In assessing a proposed reaction mechanism of a complex reaction, it is essential to ensure that the predicted rate law corresponds to the rate law derived from experimental observations.